This is Torch, and we're here at the Riot World Championships Day 2, and I'm here with HotShotGG, who just placed 9th in the world, actually, which is pretty respectable, although it's not exactly where they wanted to be. Is there any first thoughts that you want to say going into this?
We should have placed better. That's all I can say, you know. We just hope to do better next time, and we'll move from there.
So we were talking with Doublelift before, and he was actually predicting the exact place that you guys got. Is that something that you think is a mindset that you kind of want to squash from your team, where there's more of an acceptance to be like, oh yeah, we got 9th place, it's okay? Do you want to try to make it so that everyone's always like first place is the or go home, essentially?
Yeah, well, I would say like that's never a mentality you want to have. You should never predict that you're going to not do well. You know, everyone is different in their own in that respect, but I feel that as long as you take away what you need to take away from this tournament and make the right changes necessary to succeed for the future, then that's the only thing you really need to do.
Well, so we'll be talking about some of the lessons that you guys might have learned in a little bit, but before that, coming into the Season 2 World Championships, how are you guys preparing for these matches, and what sort of things were you going through to get ready for coming out here to LA?
So in the 4 months before we came back to the US, we were training hard in Korea 24/7, and we weren't doing other obligations that we had as a company and stuff like that. So that was our training period, and I guess we didn't use it as effectively as we could, or we didn't use it as well as we could. Even though we really tried, I think in Korea we could have done better, I guess. And when we came home, we were kind of back in the North American scene, and I think that let us slack a little bit because the North American scene isn't strong at all, and the teams we play against kind of threw us off. You know, we were beating everyone, we were stomping everyone, and then we get back into the world scene, which we were at in Korea, and we're back to, you know, going 50-50, and you know, here we didn't go 50-50, we did worse than that.
So with the 50-50, there's a lot that comes down to randomness. With best of one for group stage, do you think there's been some sort of play where the best team has not gotten through because of best of one, or do you think it's kind of gone how you would have expected it to?
No, I definitely think best of one kind of sucks, especially in a game like League of Legends. Not only that, it was coin toss dependent on which side people got. So IG had a formidable strat on blue side, which trumped us and SK, and it was just like a camp with a bunch of wards, no boots, and it's really hard to predict things like that, and it's hard to predict like strategies like that. But everybody agrees, like in every team, that blue side is the superior side. And so when we did our coin toss, we lost every single coin toss, which it was literally like a 12% chance that we'd lose every single coin toss. And we had a really good strategy for blue side, and we never got to pull it out this whole tournament. And it just so happened that the team that beat us, I think that hurt us the most, is IG, had a strategy for blue side too, so it was like a double whammy. And to not get one blue side, it really sucked for us.
So what do you think Riot should have really done to change the format so that something like this wouldn't have happened and we could actually see the strategies that everyone had planned before the tournament started?
You know, it's hard to say, and I couldn't tell you on the spot. I mean, Riot did really good for the position they were in. You know, everyone can always improve, even the tournament hosts. But all in all, I'm not gonna blame the sides for our performance. You know, it probably contributed. There's always better things that we could have done.
So for the event itself, have you been enjoying yourself? Do you think that the production's going really well, and do you think it's doing justice for Riot League of Legends and moving it forward as an esport?
Yeah, of course. Riot's done a really great job with this tournament, and Riot's done a great job every tournament. Better so than most other tournament hosting organizations. And so I can remember, like, this is where we had WCG 2010, and it was some of the most memorable experiences of my life. And like, Riot brought that, and I feel that they're bringing that again with this tournament, so it's really good.
Yeah, it'll definitely be good to see in the future how things are going to be going with that. Going back to how you guys practice as a team compared to some of the Korean teams, since we're kind of on the dawn of seeing the Asian dominance, do you think it's a cultural thing or just the way that they practice that influences how they're playing the game differently than the American and European players?
Well, see, I think a lot of it has to do with the practice. Like, I was talking to one of the Frost members, and it's like they train like 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, non-stop. They don't get to go outside. It's so intense, the training, and to have to, like, they have to bank off winning. It's like it's a do or die situation for them. Whereas in like the North American scene, like, we train hard, but we don't train as hard as that. So, like, imagine being in their position and losing. They have a very high chance of losing to us. Like, it's, I guess I wouldn't want to say luck, but fate was on their side. They're on this tournament, but they could have easily lost by like one or two like mistakes here and there. And to have trained that hard and to lose would be devastating for them. For us, it's still devastating, but they fight harder. They definitely fight harder, and that's something that we need to adopt. We went to Korea and we took a lot from Korea, but we only got us to here. We were down here, like with the rest of the North American scene, we were down here, but we need to go up here, and that's where we're going to aim for next season.
Anything that you guys are specifically trying to incorporate from the Korean culture into your practice regime for Season 3, since you are going to be playing mainly against Western teams?
Yeah, so I think it's a balance between the Western culture and the Korean culture. You take a little bit of both and you mix it. The Korean culture is really like training 14 hours a day, and you really have no life outside the game, and that I think is not healthy, and it burns you out. And I think a good mix between their dedication, their practice regime, and their respect for the game, and just like a Westerner style of life that's like not training, it's training like 8 hours a day or 5 days a week or something like that, and just taking their fundamentals and their thought processes and kind of combining them to make your own. I think I think it'll be just as successful as someone burning themselves out, and it's a little overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, very wise words, especially if you're going to be looking for the long term, where some of these Korean teams are focused on just winning the tournament right now.
Yeah.
So you're talking a lot about balance, and one of the things that Cloud Templar said in kind of a controversial piece was that he was kind of saying that since CLG NA has all their girlfriends here, it'd be kind of embarrassing if they were to lose to you guys, since you have that other focus. Would you agree with something like that, or do you think that having your girlfriends here provides you a sense of stability and balance to your emotional side of the play that makes it so this actually increases your level of play?
Well, okay, so girlfriends are slightly controversial for me. Like, I feel that as long as the girlfriends aren't detracting from your play and your focus, that it's fine. Like, the girlfriends need to be able to know that it's your time to just focus on the game, and this is what you're here for. And as long as they can facilitate that and help you improve, and just leave you when you need to be left alone, then I think that it's perfectly fine, and it doesn't really detract. I know, like, Woong has a girlfriend himself, so he like has his balance for like his Korean lifestyle, but we have our balance for our Westerner lifestyle. So
okay, well, it'll definitely be interesting to see how that progresses through the future. For this tournament specifically, CLG EU has made it onto the semifinals. When they eventually do make it to the finals, who do you think you would really want to see them playing against in that final match next weekend?
I would actually just like to see them play against Moscow 5 and try to beat them, because I know they think they're better, and I think they're better too. And I think they have the potential to beat Moscow 5. And, Moscow 5 is considered #1 in the world right now. And to just dethrone them would make them #1 in the world, guaranteed. If they were to beat a team that, just slightly beat them or slightly beat Moscow and them, it'd be like they're not undisputedly the best in the world. It'd be like kind of somewhere close. But if Moscow got to the top again and CLGU knocked them out, then I think they would both I mean, that CLGE would be undisputably the #1 team in the world. And if Moscow 5 won, then they would be undisputedly the #1 team in the world. So
that's assuming that neither the Asian teams or any of the Asian teams make it to the finals. But we'll see how it goes down. Very exciting for everyone to follow that. So shifting gears a little bit, you guys were the team of the year for Razer last year. What do you guys think you need to do for the rest of 2012 to kind of get back up to that standing to be seen as the best team for one of the best gaming peripheral companies in the world?
Well, I think a lot of our focus needs to go back into our fans and treating them well, because for a long time we went underground and we kept practicing and practicing, and we learned that our fans, #1, our fans didn't appreciate that, and we felt we lost a lot of momentum and self-confidence because we were away from our fans and our comfort zone. And so I think we need to find a balance between practice and making sure we have our support from our fans and our sponsors. So.
All right. Well, that's a really great thought to close this out on. Is there any final shout-outs that you want to make?
Yeah, shout out to my family, shout out to Becca, shout out to the sponsors, XMG, ELO Buff, Razer, On3D, and thanks to our fans.
All right, this has been Torch at the Riot World Championships Day 2, and I'm here with HotShotGG from CLG.